Hello! Welcome to Galactic Initiative. I'm your host, Jeff, and I'm about to criticize The Bad Batch. Episode 103 premiered Friday on Disney+, and after watching it, I realize I enjoy many aspects of The Bad Batch, but it suffers from plot holes. I've watched many channels that praise the show, so since the second episode, I've been asking, what am I missing? Because the writing seems to be a hot mess. Over the past 2 weeks, Sean, David, and I dedicated 6 hours to recording batch analysis, and while I was editing, I thought, enough, let me step back to get a broader, clearer view of this mess. Please keep an open mind as I share my observations. During the Clone Wars episode 210, a squad from the 501st Legion stumbled into the LeQuain family farm on Seleucami while trying to help a wounded Captain Rex. No one other than Rex met Cut, a clone who deserted the Grand Army. Rex chose to keep the secret of Cut's existence. In the final year of the Clone Wars, the Bad Batch completed a mission with Rex. Did Rex tell Clone Force 99 about Cut? Did he tell other clones too? If so, why? Was Rex helping other clones to desert? When the Bad Batch arrived at Cut's farm, the kids greeted Wrecker as a favorite uncle. But Clone Force 99 lacked the time necessary to develop such relationships between its first meeting with Rex, if he immediately told them about Cut, and the war's end. Cut greeted them by saying, "It's been a while, fellas, but how much time could have passed? At most, 1 year. If a clone other than Rex told the Bad Batch about Cut, another set of inconsistency questions arises. Tech contacted Imperial authorities at the spaceport to impound the Havoc Marauder, the Batch's attack shuttle, a military vehicle from the Clone Wars, which ended only days prior. On Earth, in our time, I believe authorities would deal with a vacant light aircraft much differently than, say, an empty helicopter gunship. Yet no distinction was made, though clone troopers inspected the vehicle. No inconvenient questions followed. Was it stolen from the military? Was it discarded during the war? What unit did it belong to? Should we scan it? Should we check its computer system for helpful information? So, the smartest member of Clone Force 99, an elite special forces unit with an unblemished record, thought impound was a better plan than infiltration. He performed no reconnaissance of spaceport security, which consisted of a fence and gate with guard post. Plus, the Marauder was impounded near Cut's farm, a proximity that invited discovery. At the beginning, the kids ran into the house to tell their father about a ship outside. Cut turned down an easy evacuation in the Havoc Marauder for an elaborate forged identity scheme because travel with wanted men was, quote, too risky. A flimsy 3-rung wire fence surrounded the farm. When she easily walked beyond it, a Nexu threatened Omega. One of these cat-like animals scratched Padme in Attack of the Clones. Such predators could have effortlessly crept through or jumped over the fence when none of Cut's booby traps were present. To say nothing of the adult's lack of supervision with dangerous animals close by. Omega left Cut and his family as they were boarding a civilian shuttle and ran into an impound lot with a firefight in progress. Cut and Sue were aware of the danger because the clones outside the civilian shuttle were summoned to it. These caring parents let Omega go? Cut, despite his military training and protective nature, watched a young girl run toward trouble and did not follow her. Furthermore, how did Omega get past the ever-increasing number of clone troopers moving into the lot? The Ordo Moondragon avoided Echo with his flashlight outside the Marauder early in Episode 3. Later in the cave, Omega distracted the dragon with Hunter's flashlight. If one argues the capacitor attracted more attention than the flashlight based on stored energy, the same result would have occurred in the cave. The dragon would have kept the capacitor. Unless while Omega was locating the dragon, the capacitor's charge diminished. But that scenario would have involved a damaged or useless capacitor. Before some people accuse me of nitpicking, remember, the stolen capacitor was the foundation of Episode 3. It was the MacGuffin. And advice such as don't think too hard about it usually protects sloppy writing. As Tarkin and Rampart desire, why would the Kaminoans have allowed clones to train conscripts? From the discussions between Lama Su and Nala Se, we learn the cloners hated the idea and feared its implementation. Of course, it doomed their revenue. Why would they have facilitated their own end? Were they already so frightened that they felt obligated to comply with Tarkin and Rampart? Unlikely. In Episode 1, Lama Su mentioned the precarious state of the newly formed empire. Which was it, frightening or precarious? The Kaminoans had the leverage and agency, why didn't they exercise them instead of pandering to the Empire? Here, the Kaminoans' actions ran contrary to their self-interest. Recalling Dex's guidance for Obi-Wan, Tarkin's manners were terrible and his pocketbook was small. Hunter's decision to bring Omega outside the ship during his search for the Ordo Moondragon was laughable, an environment foreign and dangerous to her. No breathable air, a large aggressive creature, a fractured moonscape. No place for a child. But the writers wanted Omega to rescue the Bad Batch for the third time in 3 episodes. She freed them from jail on Kamino, disarmed Crosshair, and retrieved the capacitor. Too much too soon? My biggest criticism of the Bad Batch involves Crosshair and the inhibitor chips, the implanted devices that compelled clones to kill Jedi in response to a specific verbal command. Crosshair was zapped multiple times by a machine to intensify his programming, which increased his level of obedience. To who? Everyone? Imperial commanders? Jedi? Clone commanders? The Kaminoans? Not just Palpatine. How did Crosshair know the difference? No trigger command this time. Execute Order 72 to kill Saw Gerrera's refugees? No? The zapping somehow improved his compliance with all orders. The clones were programmed for obedience from birth, but the show educated its viewers. The Bad Batch was different, and they behaved differently compared to all other clones until the writers needed Crosshair to be a villain. Are we witnessing 2 separate factors, programming and inhibitor chips? Or the former enabled by the latter? The other group members have inhibitor chips, so, despite their insubordination, why not zap them too? Couldn't hurt. Omega didn't recognize dirt. Really? She never read a book, watched the news or nature programs, or studied earth science? Dirt is common in the Star Wars galaxy. To create a sense of wonder, Omega should have asked, "Is this dirt?" instead of, "What is this?" Hunter wore a tunic for disguise in town, but he did not remove his unit headband or cover his facial tattoo. Wrecker's head hurt from a knock during the crash landing, but when Hunter and Omega returned, his headache was gone and he decorated a room for Omega. I believe I've pointed out enough plot holes or inconsistencies to justify my hot mess accusation. I love Star Wars, but fans young and old deserve more intelligent, cohesive writing. A break with logic or established rules is forgivable on occasion. However, I'm calling out a pattern of discrepancies in the Bad Batch. Do you agree? Feel free to leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Galactic Initiative is not authorized or endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited. The name Star Wars and all related materials are registered trademarks of Lucasfilm Limited, a subsidiary of the Walt Disney Company, all rights reserved. Galactic Initiative is a registered trademark and other product and company names are trademarks of their respective holders. Use does not imply affiliation or endorsement.